Hi, this is JP Morgan.
And this is Kenneth Merrill.
Today on Slanted, we want to check in with you about the coronavirus, not about the virus itself, but how it's affecting the photo video world and things you can do to be able to survive this time and to come out with a healthy business.
We don't really have anything else to do. That's why we're making this video.
That's right.
I have literally had thousands of dollars worth of jobs cancel in the last 48 hours. It's killing me.
It's so hard, and the problem is you still have to pay your rent, you still have to meet your overhead. You know, it's not like that's all going to go away. So how can you face this and get through it and still have a healthy business on the other side? So let's talk about that.
In this type of environment, we have travel being banned, gatherings are being banned, everything's being banned. People are very reluctant to get together and do shoots and do work as usual. And so you're going to have people calling you and saying, hey, we need to cancel this shoot. Maybe they say something like, we need to cancel this, maybe we'll do it in a few weeks or a couple months. But right now we just don't know. And those people may have pressure on them because their revenue is going down because of the coronavirus. The worst thing you can do is just say, okay, and hang up the phone and feel sad. What you should do when they say we have to cancel this is you should say, okay, great, let's plan on 4 weeks from now and set a date. And be flexible. Say, you know, I understand maybe that doesn't work out, but let's put a pin in it just so we have a plan in case things start to get better. Anything to kind of keep that project on the map and not off in the ether of some time.
Yeah, if you just hang your head and walk away, and they figure, oh, well, that was easy, and they'll visit when they get to it later. But you want them to be thinking about you when they come to visit. The very worst thing you can possibly do is start demanding cancellation fees, and because all that is going to do is upset them, and the likelihood of getting that is very small. It just makes you look like you're very ungrateful, and my sense about it is you're demanding for something that's just going to destroy a client relationship.
Yeah, because again, they have a lot of pressure on them. It's an unfortunate circumstance for them. They don't want to have to cancel a shoot or fire you or anything. So when you turn around and say, well, you got to give me, $500 because you're canceling our shoot next week, that's just going to make the whole situation worse, and they're not going to call you back.
If you're a wedding photographer or a portrait photographer and you feel like, in my contract it says if you cancel the event, you lose your deposit or whatever, you might want to think about that and say, you know what, I understand your situation, let's reschedule the wedding. You still have their money, try to reschedule them, they still have to get married, they're still going to have siblings and friends that get married, you don't want to destroy that relationship by hanging on to a deposit. If you haven't written in your contract, it's like a force majeure, if something out of my control happens, I get to keep your money. If that's not written in your contract, then they have a really good case to get their money back from you anyway. So you're better to try to work it out with them to push the shoot ahead. Even if it's for, you think, a dumb reason, like, well, I just don't want to leave my house with my family, and you're going, we're going to a park, I mean, just you have to work with people, let them get through the scary part of this experience, but just take their money as we're still working together, and we're going to push this out for a couple of weeks.
Whatever you do, just take this as an opportunity to improve your business and not let it affect you negatively. So that may include the relationships, do something nice, go out of your way, be extra understanding towards the clients that have to cancel or move the shoot. And they'll remember that more than they may have even remembered the shoot in the first place.
And on that line of improving your business, it's a great time if you've got a couple of weeks off or things are getting very slow, start working on a skill that you've been wanting to perfect. Whether it's editing, whether it's Lightroom or Photoshop or just something, there's got to be things you'd like to work on or things in your business you should work on, like fixing my storage and getting that more under control, or getting a new estimating or invoicing form organized so I can send out, working on my portfolio or for my website.
Yeah, absolutely. Portfolio work is huge because I never really take the time. I mean, I have client work, I have family, I have just general life stuff, so I rarely take the time to go out and shoot personal work that I'm proud of to expand my portfolio in the direction I want it to go. And so I'm going to be taking the next few weeks to go shoot the stuff I've wanted to shoot for a long time but never took the time to do.
So if you get in a situation, this experience where cash flow gets very tight and you do still have to pay your rent, the worst thing you can possibly do is try to just hide from your creditors. It's much better for you to start reaching out to them and saying, you know what, I'm in a very tough situation right now, my job's all canceled, can I pay you X number of dollars against my rent? Or, I had an accountant that taught me long ago when I went through this experience when I was very young in the business. He said, if you'll even just send a check for a small amount of money against the larger bill that you owe, at least they know you're thinking of them and that you're going to pay your bills. Then they know you're taking some action, even though it may seem meager, to resolve the situation. You're not going to just disappear, and that makes them feel comfortable. And when you make a payment like that, it's like 30 days. Just bought you 30 days because they're going, okay, that person's taking care of it. We'll see where they're at.
Another thing you can do is reach out to everybody you know. Reach out to the clients you used to work with, clients you're still working with, friends, the PA you met on a set last summer, anybody you can think of that has any connection to your industry, reach out to that person because they're sitting around. They don't have anything to do any more than you do. Reach out to them, say, hey, let's do a video chat. How's it going? Let's talk about work. Let's talk about plans for the year. Isn't this virus thing crazy? It's a good opportunity to connect with people on a more face-to-face level, even if you can't do it in person.
Video conference calls is a great idea because you can now have a face-to-face and you feel like you've connected with the person, but you don't have to get out into public in a place that might make them feel uncomfortable.
And it saves you 2 hours of driving too if you're in the LA
There
area.
you go. Absolutely.
And you have an excuse.
Yeah, there's a reason.
I would love to do lunch with you, but the virus, let's just do a video call.
The virus.
Lastly, for me, I would say this is something I've learned over the years. I'm sure JP can attest to it, but if you haven't learned it yet, diversify your revenue streams. In a situation like this, I am so lucky that not all of my money comes from being a DP. Most of it does, but I do still have some revenue from editing from a few clients I've kept over from my editing days. I also have some money that comes from stock footage and even more that comes from camera rentals. Now those are going to go down because nobody's shooting right now. But overall, in a situation like this, the more revenue streams you have, even if a few of them take a hit, you're more likely to have that safety net that you've built. So diversify, diversify. If you haven't done until now, maybe it's a little too late this time around, but coming out of this, you're definitely, like JP said, learn a new skill, start investing in some other things. Take this time to contemplate, how can I be less severely hit next time this happens?
Julie and I have learned this from way back in our career, and that is you do need to diversify. We're not saying go out and start a restaurant or something. We're saying that within the industry, there's a lot of different ways to make a living. And pick some of those that will work with what you do, and you can invest your time in that'll help your business to have some other areas to support it when things get tough.
And lastly, if you do get the coronavirus, please stay home.
If you just get sick, stay home.
Any sickness, really. I have seen it time and again, some grip or even me get sick, and I just think, well, I'm irreplaceable. I have to go to work.
Push through.
Gotta push through. And then a week later, the whole crew is sick, and everybody's miserable, and they all hate you. So, especially in this situation, if you do have a shoot moving forward, but you're feeling sick, step out. And if you're in a high position, any position really, recommend someone good. Maybe not quite as good as you, because that can be dangerous, but someone that's a good recommendation that'll fill your shoes until you're ready to step back in.
Is that why Kenneth refers me to people when you... Now I wonder why he gave me all those referrals.
I have a good buddy, JP.
That'd be great for you. So that's it. Just be a clean, normal human being that washes their hands and takes care of their life. I think that's going to solve most of the problems. So there's just a few thoughts. Over at ASMP, they had some other thoughts about contracts and things. I listened to their live call just this last week, which was excellent. So there's some thoughts there as well. We had camera companies that are kind of not getting gear here as fast as some people may like. Some of those kinds of things are just inconvenience. Don't do this, though. Do not start going, I'm going to pawn my gear. I'm going to sell my camera. I've seen people do this many, many times, and it's like, I'm going to sell off all my stuff, and what does it do? They kick themselves out of the business, and they can never get back in because they don't have the gear necessary to make it happen. So don't panic like that. Figure out a way to make those payments and to keep things moving ahead, and if you can do that, you'll get through this, and on the other side, you'll have work again because it's going to come back with a vengeance. It's going to drop like an elephant right in your lap, and you'll have work once again. So don't panic. It may get uncomfortable, but just stick with it and hang in there and you'll be all right.
Yeah, keep in mind that right now is not a seller's market because everybody's in the same boat as you. They don't want to go out and spend a bunch of money on gear. So if you sell something, if you pawn something off to try and pay rent next month or whatever, you're going to sell it at a huge discount rate. It's better to do everything you can to hold on to your business, hold on to your assets until this blows over, and then kind of claw your way out of whatever hole you end up in. If you pawn yourself off, you might not ever make it back.
Get rid of all the things that don't make you money, and if you're going to sell something off, sell that big screen TV off way before you sell your TV off.
Or cancel your subscriptions. How many of us have a lot of subscriptions these days? So go check out some YouTube channels on budgeting. Yes. That'll probably help.
For all of us.
For all of us.
There's some tips to help you get through this tough time. And if you have thoughts about this, put them in the comments below. Things that you think will help get the industry and our fellow creatives through this tough time. We'd love to hear those thoughts. It'll help everyone to grow and to be able to move forward and get through it. So we want you to get through it. We know you will. So keep those cameras rolling.
And keep on clicking.